So here we have the application. It's been built here. It was organized here on the left-hand side as these using all these files. Now these files can grow very quickly as we add more and more features, and so it can start getting out of hand, right? So we need to organize this, to make us scalable as we add new features and folks are added to the team and need to be able to explain them how this is organized. So one particular way that I'm going to follow for organizing these files is I'm going to organize them by the feature, right? So for instance, all the artifacts that I'm using to implement the profile or the registration or the login, they'll be in one particular folder, right? So that if I ever want to find anything that has to do with the profile, I will find it in one single place, right? So let's create a profile directory, right? And in there, I'm going to move all the profile related files. So I'll move them in there. The references, let's see if hopefully the IDE has identified all my dependencies, right? So that if anybody was pointing to my HTML, right, it has been updated. Let's see if that's true. If we go to our index, notice that my index has changed. See that? Now that I've moved it onto the profile directory, it updated my href. Okay. Different IDEs are better than others at being able to identify these dependencies. If not, you'll have to do it by hand. But most IDEs are pretty good at identifying and updating your dependencies. Oftentimes, they'll give you a before and after to make sure that this is exactly what you want, right? So as it's moving things around, it says, "Are you sure this is what you meant?" So let's do that for each one of these. So let's do this for login. I'll move the login. So login, we have 3 artifacts. We have the controller, the style sheet, and the template under there. And notice that it updated the login. Very good. Let's do it also for the register. So register, and we'll add the register in there. And user admin. So maybe we'll put it in an admin folder. So we'll add that in there. Okay, excellent. Other folders that might be useful is that, for instance, any JavaScript that is goes across the entire application, right? We might put it under the JS directory. Okay. Also, if you have any JavaScript that were downloaded and don't belong to you, okay, it's very useful to perhaps put them in a separate directory. Maybe call it vendor. Right, or vendors, right? So for instance, if you downloaded the jQuery library, which we didn't, but if you downloaded it, right, this would be a good place to put it under the vendors, so that it's not your JavaScripts, okay? It's somebody else's, right? Somebody or maybe if you downloaded the Bootstrap JavaScript libraries, you would put it under here. If you downloaded any React libraries, any Angular libraries, any of those libraries, you put them under vendors. Okay, there's somebody else's JavaScript. What else? Any of these style sheets, perhaps you would put them under a CSS directory. So perhaps these CSS might go under there. We'll put them under there. Okay. All right. So now, so this is a way of organizing things together. But notice that the admin, profile, register, these are fundamentally different than what CSS and JavaScript are, right? These are actually implementing features, right? As opposed to these are more generic ones, okay? So these are actually implementing either a page or some DOM part of the application. Later on, we will refer to these as components, right? When we introduce React tomorrow and we do Angular a little later, we'll introduce these as being components that allow you, to build applications as building blocks that you can combine and build things together. So I'm going to move them all under a components directory. The register, profile, login, and admin, I'll move them into the components directory. Since they have a specific role in the application, right? They are rendering things in the DOM. They are interacting with the user. they're styling, they look pretty. So they're building the actual application, all the different features. Okay. All right. So this looks a little better, and typically there'll be somebody who's responsible for doing the admin part, and somebody's responsible for doing the login. Right. And that's a nice way, perhaps, of breaking up the workload. Right. You work on this feature, right, the login feature, and you're responsible for the entire stack. Right, the styling, the formatting, the HTML template, the controller, the service, right, all the way down to the server service, the data modeling, the data access, right, and you're responsible for the entire stack, right, as opposed to breaking it up by layer, right, where, oh no, you're going to do the client side and I'll do the server side, right. I would prefer that you break it up vertically, right, so that, you know, even when you're working on the project, you get a chance to work on the entire stack all the way through, from the beginning, inception, design, styling, template, control, service, HTTP service, then data modeling, and then storing in a database, right? So that you get a chance to go vertically, as opposed to breaking it up parallelly, right? Where you only get to work on the client, or you only get to work on the server, right? All right, excellent. So we broke it up. This is looking much better.